This is breaking news from CBS 11.
And we are following breaking news today at 4 o'clock. That is Grand Prairie Police Chief Steve Dye. He is talking about one of their fallen officers who was killed earlier today. Let's have a listen. And again, our live camera there inside of that room, that is Steve Dye, the police chief for Grand Prairie Police. We do know that one of their police officers was killed earlier today while
it is with a heavy heart that I stand
earlier
before
this
you
morning.
today.
Here he is. Let's have a listen again.
The passing of one of our police officers, one of our brothers, Grand Prairie Police Officer Albert A.J. Castaneda, Jr. Our department is hurting, our city is hurting, and our profession is hurting at the loss of this model police officer who gave his life serving his community. Officer Castaneda succumbed to his injuries at 10:58 this morning as a result of a crash on the President George Bush Tollway at Dickey Road. The incident occurred at approximately 10:40 a.m. when the officer was out conducting traffic enforcement on the inside shoulder of the highway. A passenger car, a Nissan 300 ZX, was traveling northbound and for an unknown reason lost control, traveled onto the inside shoulder, and struck the officer as he was out of his vehicle conducting speed enforcement. After the officer was struck, he hit the ground below. Our Texas Department of Public Safety Highway Patrol is investigating the accident, and the driver of the vehicle who struck our officer was not injured and was a sole occupant. There have been no charges filed on the driver of that vehicle at this time, but the investigation is ongoing. He displayed no visual signs of impairment at the scene of the crash. Officer A.J. Castaneda was a 5-year veteran of the Grand Prairie Police Department. Prior to coming to GPPD, A.J. served with the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office for 6 years, and prior to his service in law enforcement, he served our United States Coast Guard for 8 years. Officer Castaneda is survived by 2 children, his parents, and many loving family members. He was a friend, a trusted colleague, an outstanding officer who had a work ethic second to none, who came in every day with passion to protect and serve. His family is grieving with our GPPD family, and we ask your privacy for them at this time. An off-duty Arlington police officer actually witnessed this crash, and I want to thank him for immediately stopping to render aid and for notifying our agency of what had just occurred. I also have many thanks to give to many agencies and many people, including our outstanding city manager and city council who loves their police department. Our city shows support for law enforcement unlike any other, and we can't thank them enough for being with us in the good times as well as during the tragedies. We've had assistance from the Arlington Police Department. We've had members of the Texas Highway Patrol assisting us. We have had officers from agencies from Dallas, Richardson, Fort Worth, Hurst, Euless, Bedford, Cedar Hill, too many to mention. I've been contacted by every agency in the Metroplex, that's over 70 police departments, expressing their condolences and asking how they can help. And that's the brotherhood and the sisterhood we have in North Texas law enforcement. I cannot thank my brothers and sisters enough. I also want to thank the staff of Medical City of Arlington. They were courageous in their attempts to save our officers, but we believe he was lost immediately. What they did to try to save him and their grace after the fact to show respect for this officer, our department, and the family can never be repaid. I want the conversation to now turn towards the legacy of Officer Castaneda. AJ grew up in our city. He grew up in the Dalworth community of our city, and on every Thursday, he would go back to the neighborhood where he grew up, and he would buy pizza for the kids at the rec center. Folks, this was on his own accord. He didn't want attention. He didn't want recognition. This is the character and tells you a lot about the person we lost today. He gave back as good or better than any officer I've ever seen in my 35 years. As a matter of fact, just last September, he was honored for saving the life of a choking baby out at Asia Times Square. If I had to describe a model police officer, AJ would be one that would come to mind first. I appreciate your respect for law enforcement in this area. You understand what a difficult job we have. And although AJ was lost far too soon, I can tell you, because while I know all my officers, I was also a close friend to AJ. He died loving what he was doing. And while we lost him too early, the years that he gave us in law enforcement, those 11 years, they equal 100 years. So thank you so much, again, for your respect and the coverage of this tragedy. And our profession and our department are hurting, but we will continue to go out and protect and serve our community, and we will forever take care of AJ's family, our GPPD family, and always honor his legacy. I'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
During the crash, was the two questions. Number one, was the Nissan driving at a high rate of speed? And also, at this point, do investigators have any reason to believe that this action may have been deliberate or no? I don't know one way or the other.
The speed calculation is still under investigation. I cannot give you that at this time. We have no reason to believe that it was an intentional act. However, that investigation is ongoing and is subject to change. Scott?
Chief, Officer Castaneda, any personal recollections you'd like to share, or what his personality was like?
Yeah, you know, he was a real stout guy, real physically in shape, and he probably didn't know his own power. You know, he was just so gentle in spirit, and I think what stands out to me, he had a special needs son who also had a medical disorder, and I would often ask him about his son. He was a devoted family member. He actually traveled out of the country for experimental treatments for his son. So I think I love of his family. He took such great care of his parents. I think his work ethic, always trying to do the extra. He is not the officer that just ran his calls and did what he had to do. He would go follow up on his own on calls that he had previously handled to try to help solve those cases. He was a member of our day shift patrol division, and actually he was in here today on his off-duty time working a speed enforcement project to try to help regulate the speed on our highways. So just a man of character, a man of compassion, work ethic second to none, and devoted to his family. When I would pass him, you know, in the hallway, he would always tell me, he says, "Chief, I can't think of any other place I'd rather be than right here." So, you know, it's always great to see those happy employees that just love coming to work every day, and that's how we're going to remember him.
Chief, is it common for officers to run radar outside their units? And given this situation, should perhaps the policy change?
No, there's not any expected policy changes, and that's a great question. When we're working speed enforcement out of our Tahoes, we typically don't have a way because we have to face the direction of traffic. So when the violator approaches, we can quickly stop that violator the safest way possible. He was using a handheld LiDAR, which is a laser device, and the only way to do that is handheld and facing back towards the traffic. The protocol that he was using today is the same protocol that's best practices by the other agencies. It's just, you know, Lori, it accentuates the highlights the dangers of our profession. There's no way to completely be safe in doing everything that we need to do as police officers. We equip and train our officers the best we can, but at the end of the day, it's a dangerous job, and this is a perfect tragic example of that, unfortunately.
Chief, it's been 15 years since your department has lost an officer in the line of duty, which means some of your younger officers may have never experienced this before.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the effect of what you're seeing on the department.
So it has been 15 years since we lost Sergeant Hunter, who was actually a close friend of mine as well. I'll tell you, this is always tough. This is the first officer that I've lost as a chief. Luckily, we have protocols in place. We anticipate this unfortunate situation. We're going to turn toward honoring the officer's legacy, taking care of his family, but now taking care of our GPPD family. We have chaplaincy resources in place, peer support resources in place, and a lot of mental health resources, debriefings of this critical incident, because what we want to do is we want to grieve, but we want to move forward to make sure all of our employees stay healthy to continue to protect and serve. We don't want anybody more adversely affected by this tragedy than they have to be. So luckily, we're blessed to have our own mental health unit, very robust peer support and chaplaincy programs. And again, I want to tell you, we're working with the Arlington Police Department on funeral arrangements, Fort Worth, Dallas. Everyone is stepping forward, as we always do in policing in North Texas, logistically to help us during these next couple of weeks. So thank you.
Chief, you said that you were close with AJ.
Yes.
That you said before this you were going to take a few pauses during this press conference. We started to pause whenever you talked about how he grew up here, how he served here, how he's a servant of this community. Is that why you were so close to him? Because you connected with him on that level?
So AJ was one of our lateral officers. You know, he came over to us in Academy Class number 2 from Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, and I love all of my officers, you know, and they're all special. You know, it's like, you know, you can't choose your favorite child. But he just had a soul that really exemplified that servant aspect of what we do. And when he was going through the hiring process, through the time in the academy and through the time as an officer, he never lost sight of that. He would regularly mention to me what an honor and privilege it is for him to be back serving his community. He said, I remember how I grew up in that neighborhood, and I want to go help those kids have an opportunity like I've had. And, you know, I think all of us wish we could go back and work in the neighborhoods that we grew up in, but we just can't. That's not possible. And I was always so proud of him and really a little envious that he had that great opportunity, because I could see how fulfilling it was for him. And I just, you know, we're always going to honor our fallen, but he was just a salt of the earth model police officer, but just a great human being. And they're all tough. This is going to be tough for us. But yeah, I think just his connection to the community and his willingness to do the extra, like go out and buy pizza once a week for the kids out there in his old neighborhood. He didn't get money for that. He didn't get paid for that. That was his heart. And I think it's good for all of the public to know this is most of your police officers. They're good people who lay their lives on the line to serve your communities. And I'll tell you, I'm often asked, Chief, what can we do to help you? And this is before today's tragedy. And I always tell people the same thing. If you want to help us, when you see a police officer, tell them how much you appreciate them. That's what keeps us going, folks. And I'll tell you, AJ knew that. AJ knew how much his chief, his department, and his citizens and his city leaders cared about him, and we're going to take solace in that fact. I don't have the exact footage. I can tell you that he was on an overpass, and as a result of the collision, he did fall from that overpass to the road below.
Any information on the other driver, like his name or?
I do not have information on the other driver. He has not been arrested. We don't know if there's going to be criminal charges forthcoming, and that investigation is being handled by the Texas DPS, so they would have that information for you when it's available.
Chief, I know you speak Spanish, if you wouldn't mind saying a few things in Spanish for Telemundo.
I will. I'll wrap up. I'll wrap up any of the other English speaking questions, and then I'll certainly do something in Spanish for whoever needs it. Any other questions at this point?
There was a Fort Worth officer that was killed on the side of the road a few years ago. As a result of that, they passed a law to move over, slow down.
Right.
Do you think that would apply in what happened here?
While the
traffic enforcement as opposed to
correct.
Helping someone on the side of the road.
Let me clarify that. When the officer was struck and killed, he was actually looking downrange to see if there were speeding vehicles coming towards him. He was not on a traffic stop with lights and siren, so the move over law is designed when we have the vehicle stopped and have our red and blue lights activated for the motorist to then move over. But I can assure you DPS is going to look into every aspect of this investigation to try to determine the cause. I don't have those with me. I can tell you that they're younger. I believe 11 and 15 is what I'm being told, but I would have to confirm that. But younger children.
Is it a boy and a girl, and which age was
I do not know. I know his youngest His son is the one that has the special needs. Anything else? Okay. Thank you all again for being here, and then I will start with the anything that needs to be done in Spanish.
It's a very difficult day for the Grand Prairie Police Department, for the law enforcement community, and for the community as a whole. You heard Chief Steve Dye refer to this officer as a model citizen and also as a friend. So personally, difficult for him to share this news.
Just in the last couple of minutes, he delivered the very somber confirmation that Officer A.J. Castaneda is in fact the officer who lost his life earlier today, struck by a vehicle while he was running traffic patrol, traffic enforcement out on George Bush Tollway and Dickey Road earlier today. He said that happened at about 11:40 earlier this morning. Confirmed dead. He passed away just before 11 o'clock this morning. I want to bring in now Doug Dunbar, who has spent a lot of time with this police department. You've talked to these officers, and you got to know Officer Castaneda briefly, didn't you?
Yeah, to a small degree. Yeah. You know, what I'm struck by is Chief Dye's words about the familial concept within the department. That's not strange in any police department, but Grand Prairie is one of the smaller, if you compare against a Dallas or a Fort Worth, just in terms of manpower. And there is a very big family feeling there, and where that comes across to me and why I know a little bit about it is I've been blessed to honor their annual police awards banquet for a number of years in recent years. And the irony of this all is I got to hand Officer Castaneda his Patrol Officer of the Year award. This is going back to 2015. And the photograph that they have released of him, when you look at the photograph, to me, and I've only probably met him since then about 8 or 10 times, but you see the smile in there, and he's got that half smile that's always ready to go. And from the moment I met the guy, and over the years, the very few times that I've had encounters with him, you almost can feel through the photograph the guy who you're going to meet. He was that guy, and I was glad to hear Chief Dye talking about the personal side of Officer Castaneda. And then, of course, the irony and the intersection that we at the station actually did a story regarding his autistic son. Special needs son. Right.
You know, one of the things that Chief Dye spoke about also is how he wants the conversation to be sort of changed into the legacy of this officer. And just based on what you're saying, based on the stories that we will inevitably hear in the coming days, there are plenty of these stories, plenty of legacy to talk about.
And and worth noting, Grand Prairie's only had 2 officers die in the line of duty until today, and the first was Officer Lyndon Fred King. He died many years ago, and his name, every year at the annual awards banquet, his name is applied to the Officer of the Year, the highest award that they give within the department. And then just back in 2004, it was Sergeant Greg Hunter who Chief Dye had addressed toward the beginning of the press conference. And that award in his name, the Greg Hunter Supervisor of the Year award, is given every year at the banquet. I have zero doubts that when they come to the banquet this coming year, unfortunately, they will be adding a name to yet another award within the department's recognition of their own, and that will be of Officer A.J. Castaneda.
Just a heartbreaking reality of what this department, with this community, his family, of course. Our hearts go out to them. So many people right now mourning what is happening and unfolding here today, Doug.
They are. Yeah. It's a tough day.
Thank you, Doug. And just 9 months ago, we featured Officer Castaneda after he saved a child's life. He was working the Mid-Autumn Festival at Asian Times Square there in Grand Prairie when he saw a child choking. Officer Castaneda gave the child back blows until the child spit out a white object, started breathing once again. So he saved a child's life very recently. Only 2 other Grand Prairie police officers, as Doug mentioned, have been killed in the line of duty. In 2004, Sergeant Gregory Hunter was shot and killed while he and another officer investigated a suspicious vehicle. And in 1982, a drunk driver hit and killed Officer Lyndon King. We asked to please stay with CBS 11 as we learn more about this officer's legacy. We're going to bring you the latest on air and online at cbsdfw.com, as well as about the ongoing investigation there.